your guys' suggestion to somebody who wants to buy a used helmet? I mean, sure, if that's like what you have money to do, it's better than nothing, right? But if you're trying to have the best practice, the safest practice here, what is like your safest approach there that's reasonable?
Yeah, I think when in doubt, you throw it out. Like we have test helmets that don't quite pass the standard, and then we crush them and we throw them away. Just for that same reason, we don't want people wearing something that's not safe or doesn't pass the standard. And if you do have a crash in a helmet and you think maybe that EPS is compressed a little bit, throw it out.
But there also, you can add to that also what the helmet is exposed to. I mean, if you have a bicycle helmet that you commute with every day to work, it will be exposed to a lot more UV light, and that will affect the EPS in the helmet. So then maybe you should consider replacing it at an earlier stage. And if you have a ski helmet that you use one week a year and otherwise have it tucked away in the basement, maybe it lasts a bit longer. So you have to judge that a bit also, how exposed it has been.
It also goes into the type of helmet. We design injection molded shells to be more durable. That's your kid's helmet where 8-10-year-olds are throwing their helmets on the ground, they're dropping on the concrete, and we intentionally design them to be more durable, which then makes them a little bit heavier. On the flip side, like our touring helmets are PC in mold, they're super lightweight, which also makes them a little more fragile. So that if you drop it off the roof of your car and it drops in the parking lot, probably get a new one for sure. So it is very subjective, but I think when in doubt, send us an email, we'll get you a code and get a new one.
Frederik, we were talking a little bit about that too. Like if you've had this questionable fall, which I actually did last summit here, and I had a really hard time deciding, did I have a concussion? Am I throwing this out? I've had this helmet for 5 years. Did I have a concussion? I went over this and over this in my head. I'd look at the helmet. It all looked great. There was no scratches. We talked about this a little bit earlier. What is the problem with that thought process?
Yeah, but I mean, you can't take a chance because you can't really see if you had a hit that compressed the EPS so much that it doesn't work anymore, or that it wouldn't take up a second hit. And I think the risk is too big to take any chances in this case. So we can't really examine the helmet, and then you had a big hit to it, then you should exchange it.
What about somebody who's like, oh my gosh, I really love this helmet. It's been my favorite. I haven't had any falls in it, but it's just a standard EPS helmet. Can I give it to you, and will you put some MIPS in it for me? Like, what would you say to that person?
No, it's unfortunately we can't retrofit it into an existing helmet. As I mentioned before, like the essence of what we do at our HQ is making sure that the system does what it was intended to do. And to do that, we have to tailor it to each specific model and each specific size. So it's simply not possible to put it there afterwards. So,
and they are sticklers about that. We'll get to the point where we're testing a helmet. It's like 9.5%. Like, no, we got to add sliding enablers or different things that we do to really make sure that you get that 10% improvement in rotation.